Yesterday we configured unidirectional one-to-many relationship between user and bank account. One user can have many bank accounts. So one user has list of bank accounts here in this case. I could have configured same like a set or collection also. Here in this case I configured list. Okay. And in bank account, am I having the reference to user? No. So if I give you a bank account object, you will not be able to print the user details. But if I give you user object, you will be able to print all the bank accounts of that user. Right? So it is unidirectional one-to-many. From one side you are able to get all the many sides. Right? It is unidirectional one-to-many. When it is unidirectional one-to-many, how are we configuring? See this bank account.xbm.xml. How many fields is it having? Only two: account ID, balance. Even bank account is having only two. We mapped it. This is very simple. Nothing special about it. But now user is having list of bank accounts. Now how to map it? Yesterday mapped it using this one. List tag. Name is always nothing but name of the instance variable. Right? First you forget about these options. Key represents the foreign key. Previously, when we are configuring collection of value types, like one user was having many emails yesterday, right? Let's see here. One user is having list of emails, right? When I was configuring collection types, the collection of value types they don't have their own table. So what I did while configuring, I specified a separate table, a joint table where these things should go, right? When it is collection of value types, a separate joint table is required. Now coming back here, now it is collection of entity types. One user is having list of bank accounts. User is an entity and bank account is also an entity. Means both have their own tables, right? So here see, I am not specifying the table because many side is assumed to be the joint table, right? The foreign key will always go to the many side. And here I have configured key tag. Key tag means it always refers to the foreign key on the other side. This key means UID always refers to this primary key of this table, right? And also as we are using list, we have to provide the index column and one-to-many as this one-to-many relationship, right? These are we configured unidirectional relationship, right? Now once you understand this unidirectional relationship, see here in the demo I just wanted to explain here I am creating a user, but not this one. Not this one. I think from this demo in one-to-many. Okay. I'll just comment Annotations right now. Now here I am creating a bank account, two bank accounts, adding them to a list, creating a user and setting all the accounts, like giving a reference of set a list here. Then I am saving first account, second account and user, right? Now what will happen once I save first account? Insert query will be fired, right? Insert query will be having how many columns for this bank account? See, 2, account ID and balance. But in bank account this table, how many columns are there finding? 3. Foreign key column is coming from the other side, right? 3 columns are there, but the insert query will insert only account ID and balance, right? Because the insert queries are generated during the startup of Hibernate. Whenever we are building session factory, at that time all the insert queries are generated and they are kept in memory. Whenever Hibernate tries to fire insert query, it will fire the query only for these columns. So when it tries to fire the query, what will happen? The foreign key will be null. The foreign key will be null. Okay, now let me just run the demo. Before running it, I'll just make this HBM to DDL.auto as create. Create means what? It will drop and create, right? Already the tables are there, so I just wanted to drop and create them so that it will be fresh. I wanted to explain you the actual concept before going to bidirectional. If you understand this clearly, you will understand bidirectional very easily. Okay, I'm running it. Yeah, see here, insert query is fired for bank account. First, this is inserting first account. Only 2 columns are inserted. User ID is null. The foreign key is null for that row, and this is inserted. Here also foreign key is null. Only 2 rows are inserted. Then again it inserted user. Then primary key user ID got generated, right? So it has resulted in update statements of which is updating the foreign keys of the bank account table, right? So remember blindly, as we have configured set here, as we have configured set or list collection, as we have configured a list here or collection here, any changes to that collection will result in an update statement blindly, right? That is the reason why you are seeing these 2 update statements, right? Okay, next thing, by default foreign keys can be null. Can they be null? Yes, foreign keys can be null. If you don't want them to be null, you can say not null is equals to true, not null is equals to true, so it will not allow nulls. Now what will happen if I run it? What is it saying? No property, no, not null property references null or transient value. So it is having a different value, right? Here in this case not null is not working, right? Just remember this. I'll tell you the solution for this when I do the bidirectional relationship. Now when you are doing unidirectional relationship, foreign keys should be allowed to be null, otherwise it will not work. It is not working, right? When you are configuring unidirectional relationship, foreign key should be allowed to be null. Okay, now coming to the other side, unidirectional many to one. Let us see that configuration and try to understand what is happening. Then I will combine both. Here unidirectional many to one. User is not having now list of bank accounts, but bank account is having a reference to. So many side is what bank account. From many side it is unidirectional, right? Unidirectional many to one. Now if this is a configuration, see user.hbm.xml, user.java is having only 2, user ID and name, so I mapped them. There is no set here, so I didn't map it. Now coming to bank account, I mapped account ID, balance, and also there is one more variable called user. That is a field which is representing many to one relationship. So to configure many to one relationship, we have to use many to one tag, and here I am telling about foreign key, right? In unidirectional many to one relationship, I am telling about the foreign key column inside many to one tag, right? Now coming back here in the demo, I'll try to run this. Yeah, in this HBM dot, in this also I'll make it to create, so the tables will be dropped and created. Okay, now see here, I am saving first account. Now tell me the answer. When it is inserting the account, how many columns will be inserted? 1, 2 and 3. The value should be inserted. It will try to insert the value for U1's pro ID. Is it? Now just tell me the answer. Here what I did, I created first bank account, second bank account, user. And for the first account I gave the reference of user here. So now bank account is having, what is the value for? User ID. Now when I try to save first account, right, let us assume that it is inserting the value for user ID. What is the user ID I gave here? User ID is 3, right? But what am I doing? I am trying to save first account, second account, then lastly user, right? In user table, is there a row when it is inserting first account? In user table, is there a row for primary key 3? No, there is no row when it is inserting. When this insert statement is fired, right? So there is no row for primary key 3 inside user table. If it tries to insert 3 for foreign key UID here, will it cause any problem? UID is referring to primary key here. In this primary key, there is still user is not inserted. 3 is not there. So insert this insert query. Insert query for first account. If the insert query is inserting the value for UID, it will definitely throw constraint violation, because you are trying to insert 3 for foreign key, but that is not there in the other table as a primary. So it will definitely throw, right? It has, in memory it has, but if the insert query is fired with that value, it will throw exception, because you are trying to set the value for foreign key even though there is no row here in the primary table. It will throw exception. So what Hibernate will do, it will behave intelligently, and inside the insert query it will insert null. Okay, let me show you here. Did I save it? See, it is inserting UID also where it is inserting bank account, but the value will be null. Hibernate will behave intelligently, the value will be null. Here also the value will be null. But after user, at this line user, once I saved session.save user, a row will be inside user with the primary key. Then we can update it, right? So that is the reason why you are seeing this update statement in case of unidirectional many to one, right? So whether it is unidirectional one to many or whether it is unidirectional many to one, you are seeing this update statements, right? But now see this, I change the order. If I save the user first, what will happen? Yeah, update statements will not be fired. Okay. So if I say session.save user, this will update queries will not be fired right now. Let us see. See, update queries are not fired. Okay. Remember, when you are configuring many to one, unidirectional many to one, UID is configured here. And when you are configuring unidirectional one to many, where are you configuring the foreign key? On the one side, on the list side, right? Now I want to make it bidirectional. Let us see if there is any problem if I make this as a bidirectional relationship. If here you can make it as not null. If you make it as not null, then also it's a problem. Right? Okay. Now not null is equals to, but I am inserting user first. Yeah, now no problem because it is not trying to insert null. But if I do this after, unique constant. Now there is no property, not null, property references null because it's trying to insert null. So that is the problem. Even in unidirectional relationships, you should not give not null, it is not going to work, right? Now I am going to make it bidirectional relationship. Let us see what will happen. Okay, I am creating a new project for it. Okay, I am taking a new project. Bidirectional one-to-many. So I am going to add this libraries. I will just copy from this unidirectional one-to-many. I'll copy from here and paste it here. Also I'll copy hibernate.cfg.xml. Okay. Now here to make it bidirectional, what all changes I need to make it? User is having a list of bank accounts, that's fine. And also bank account, is it having user? No. To make it bidirectional, I should make a variable of user here, private user, then generate getters and setters. Okay. Now in the configuration file, see in bank account how many variables are there? There are 3 variables, right? For user is a field which is representing many to one relationship. So I have to use many to one tag for configuring this user. So here again I am writing many to one. Name of that field is user. Class is user. And column, you have to give the column. Column should be same as whatever I gave in the other mapping. Here I specified u underscore id. Here also I specify u underscore id. Now if you observe, u underscore id, the foreign key is configured at 2 places. Here when talking about many to one, and also here in this column, right? At 2 places we are configuring about foreign key. What is the problem? Now coming to demo.java here, what all changes I need to make here? For user I have set the accounts, but for each account I have to set user also. So I have to just add like this: first account dot set user, this user object user, and for second account also dot set user. So I have given relationship from both sets. For user I have given set of accounts, and for each account I have given user, right? Then I'm trying to say first account, second account, then user, right? Or I'll do like this: first I'll try to save user, then first account, second account, right? Let us try to first, before firing the thing, let us try to understand how many queries will be fired and what type of queries will be fired. See, first I am trying to save user, insert will be fired for user table, right? And also second time I am firing such not save first account. So now tell me how many columns will be inserted now? 1, 2, 3. Will there be value for user ID when it is inserting bank account? See, first I inserted user, User ID is there inside the table. Now I am trying to insert first account. According to this HBM, the insert query will have three columns: account ID, balance, and UID. UID is already in the user table, so now it will be having the value. It will insert it. So now the insert query is fired. We'll add UID also, right? It will not be null. Then for the second account also, the insert query will add the foreign key value also, right? Okay. But then after this first account and second account became persistent, earlier when user was saved, user is having a reference to set. Set is having first account and second account. User became persistent. But at that time, first account and second account were not persistent. After I saved first account became persistent and second account also became persistent here. So an update query will be fired because we have configured set in user, right? Update query will be fired. Let us see now. Yes, you can see here. First insert user table, then insert bank account table. When it is inserting, the value for UID is already there, it is inserted. Then here also UID is inserted. Then again see, update statement is fired, which will update it to the same value. Already the value is there. Unnecessary update statements, right? These two are unnecessary update statements, right? These unnecessary statements are because of bidirectional relationship, right? Now I want to avoid these update statements. To avoid these update statements in user here, I should tell to Hibernate that any changes made to this list should be ignored. The update queries are fired because of this list configuration, right? As the list is changed, it resulted in update queries. Now I want to tell Hibernate, ignore the changes made to this list. Don't fire update queries even though this list is changed. Then I can avoid the extra update queries. So to tell to Hibernate like that, you have to specify inverse is equals to, by default it is true, by default it is false, now it specify true. What is the meaning of inverse is equals to true? I am saying to Hibernate that this configuration talking about UID is already configured on the other side. This is the inverse of the other side, right? Inverse is equals to true says that UID is already configured on the other side, and this configuration is just the inverse of the other side. So it will tell to Hibernate that ignore the changes made to this list, right? Even though this list is modified later, those changes will be ignored. Now let us see, after making inverse is equals to true, I will run the same code. Let us see whether update queries are fired again. Yes, see, insert user table, then insert bank account table. Then are you able to see update queries? No, right? So if you want, whenever you are configuring bidirectional relationship, you just have to make sure that inverse is equals to true on the one of the side, right? Just see here, I just make important part. but there is a problem here. I'll just show you the table. What is the table name? User underscore unidirectional one to many. User underscore unidirectional one to many. Not user, sorry. Bank account transfer this one, right? What is list index? Index actually, but here it is null because I said changes to the list should be ignored. When I made inverse is equals to true, changes to the list should be ignored. But actually indexes are present in list only, right? In list only it is managing indexes. The other side it is not managing the indexes, right? So only list is managing the indexes, right? So when you are using list, inverse should not be on the list side. List side. So changes made to the list should be accepted, but here whatever many to one here, whenever it is writing, here I should say insertable is equals to insert is equals to false, update is equals to false. Means this u underscore id should not be inserted or updated whenever it is inserting bank account. Any changes made to this user variable will be ignored because insert is equals to false, update is equals to false, right? So this column u underscore id will not be inserted or updated when we are making changes to bank account, but the other side is accepting the changes, right? So now I'll just run it. Okay, now I'll show you the same table. Index are added now, right? So now just keep in mind, before keeping here, just see the console. Update queries are fired now, right? But when it is inserting bank account, see, is it inserting UID? No. So u underscore id is the value for u underscore id is given only once during the update. When it is inserting bank account, it is not inserting the, when it is inserting the bank account, it is not inserting the UID, right? So UID column is given value only once. Remember now the important thing, if you are using set, you can make this column, make this as inverse is equals to true, then set will be ignored for updates. The changes made to set will be ignored because in set you need not manage indexes, so changes made to the set can be ignored. When you are using set, you have to make here inverse is equals to. But when you are using list, if you make this as inverse, list index will be null. Okay, list index will be null. Any doubts? When you are using list, this should not be the inverse side. On the many side, you have to say insert is equals to false and update is equals to false. So this column will not be considered for insertions or updations. Okay. If I am using bag instead of list, tell me now, can I make inverse is equals to true? Instead of list, if I am using bag, yes, for bag it will not manage the column index. Index column is not required for bag. So when you are using set or bag, you can use inverse is equals to true to avoid the update statements. But when you are using list, you cannot make this side as inverse because list itself is having the indexes, index values 0, 1, 2, 3, right? When you are using list, it should not be the inverse side. That's the one you need to remember. Okay, over. This is about bidirectional relationship. One to one, one to many, many to one. You have seen the both. Now the next thing will be to see many to many relationship. Tell me a very good example of many to many relationship. One movie can have many artists, and one artist can act in many movies, right? So I'll have two tables, like movie table and artist table. So I'll just configure many to many relationship between movie and artist. Before we configure, tell me, I'll just let us talk about the table side. This is a movie table, this is the artist table, and both are having some primary keys: movie ID, artist ID. Artist underscore ID. Now tell me how to manage many to many relationship between these two tables, just with your database knowledge. When it is one to many relationship, if I have to manage one to many relationship, this will go as a foreign key to this table, right? But if it is many to many relationship, one movie should have many artists. Yes, we require a separate table called as join table, where movie ID will go as a foreign key from here, and artist ID will also go as a foreign key here, right? So when you are configuring many to many relationship, we require a separate table just for managing the relationships only, right? Table, physical table only. A new table, you can see the table also. You might say, is it a view? Meta table means view. No, it's a physical table only. Okay, once you understand how to configure this many to many relationship in tables, see the configurations in Hibernate. For seeing this, I'll create two classes, movie and artist, and I'll show you the configuration. Okay, you can create a new project here. Many to many. In this also I will show how to use unidirectional and also bidirectional in the same example. Here also I can copy hibernate.cfg.xml, because hibernate.cfg.xml is common. I create a new class, new package first, com.infinite. Then I am creating movie class. To make it very simple, I'll have only few variables here. Private int movie ID, private string movie name, then I'll go and create artist table also right now, artist class also. Artist, to make it very simple, it also has two variables, artist ID and artist name, that's all. Then going back to movie, if I give you a movie object, I want all the artists inside it. I want you to print all the artists. So I should configure here set or list. Now I'll configure set. Private set of artists is equals to new hash set. Then I'll generate all the getters and setters. Here movie is having set of artists. I want to make it unidirectional many to many right now. So on the artist side I will not give set of movies. First let us see unidirectional many to many. So here only two things are there, artist ID and artist name. So I will generate getters and setters right now. Okay, then class are ready. Then we need to write the configuration for movie and artist. I'll create artist.hbm.xml now. In artist there are only two properties, ID and name. It's very simple. I'll just configure, nothing special about this class right now. ID, name is equals to artist ID, column is equals to artist underscore ID. Then I'll generate it automatically. Class is equals to native. Then another property is there, name is equal to artist name, column I'll give. Okay, I don't give column name. By default the property name will be same as a column. This is very simple now, artist. I'll create now movie.hbm.xml. Here in movie also movie ID, movie name are there. I'll map them. Movie ID, I'll map it a column called movie underscore ID. Then there is movie name property, so I will first map that property also. Okay, then in movie we have set of artists. Whenever we have a set, we should use a set tag here to map it. Okay, so let us see set. Set, what is the name of the set? Artists. Now tell me, for many to many, is there a separate join table required? Yes. Separate join table is required. This one. So if you require a separate join table, you have to specify it here using table is equals to movie underscore artists, I'll say. Right? Then when I am using set tag, which tag represents the foreign key? Key. This key, whatever we configure here, refers to the foreign primary key of this table, movie ID, right? So I will now write m underscore ID. So column name inside movie underscore artist will be m underscore ID, which will be referring to movie underscore ID, right? And in this table there should be another column also from the other table. So to talk about this, we have to write a tag called many to many. Many to many class is equals to what? Artist. The other side is artist. And column is equals to I can give a underscore id. This a underscore id will be referring to the primary key of the other side, right? So that's it. If you want to configure many to many, this is a configuration, right? Now the configuration is done. Let me write a simple demo class, and I'll try to insert one movie and also many artists inside it. One more thing we need to change in cfg.xml here. Here we have to point to movie.hbm.xml and also to artist.hbm.xml. Okay. And did I give table names here in artist and the movie? By default, class name will be the table name. I'll give other table name. Artist underscore many to many. Similarly, here for movie also I'll give table movie underscore many to many. Okay, then I'll write a demo class and I'll try to insert. I'll copy a demo class from anywhere. Paste it. I'll just remove the unnecessary things here. This is common for every application. Creating a configuration object, building session factory, everything, right? Okay, here I'll try to create a movie name. Movie is equals to new movie. Tell me one of your favorite movie. Latest movie? Harry Potter, okay. Okay, I'll create two artists. First artist equals to new artist. First artist dot set name. Tell me one of the artist name. You know? Huh? Yes, I didn't tell you. Huh? Balakrishna. Okay, Balakrishna. Okay, I'll create a second artist also. Okay, second artist. Tell me another name for second artist. Rajnikant. Yes. Then I'll create a set of artists. Then I'll add these two artists. Then for the movie I'll set movie dot set artists. Okay. Then I will save movie session dot save. Here I'll try to say session.save. Now if I save movie, automatically artists associated with that movie also should be saved. What should I do? If I save movie, I don't want to save individual artists also. If I save movie, movie is having reference to both the set. Then here in movie, I should configure cascade is equals to save hyphen update. And if I delete a movie, all the artists also should be deleted. If I want that, comma, delete. You can configure according to your usage whether delete is required or not. It is not good to delete artists when movie is deleted, right? Okay. In that case, you can just use save update. Okay. Now, if I save movie, I am expecting movie and all the artists to be saved. Let us see. Yep. See, movie is inserted to movie table. Two artists are inserted inside artist table. And for join table, the primary keys are inserted. See, foreign keys, not primary keys. Foreign keys are inserted, right? Let me see the tables here. Yeah, artists. Balkrishna and Rajnikant. Movies. Movie. Only one movie, Harry Potter. So in Harry Potter, we have two artists, Rajnikant and Balkrishna. Okay. So for one movie, it is two actors, right? So this is how many to many can be configured. Now we talked about unidirectional many to many. Any doubts in this? First, let us discuss. I'll try to make this as bidirectional now. Previously, one movie is having set of artists. To make it bidirectional, on artist side, I have to give set of movies. So private set of movies. Movies is equals to new hash set. Then I'll give getters and setters. So as I have introduced movies here in artist.html.xml also, I need write artist is a set. For configuring set, again set. Now here also we need to tell about what is the name. Okay, name of this set is movies is the name of the variable, and here also we should tell about what is the join table name. Table is equals to whatever I gave on the other side. I gave here movie underscore artists. And now inside this table, artist underscore ID should go as a foreign key. So to tell about foreign key going from this table, I should use key tag. Key and column is equals to which corresponds to primary key, artist underscore ID. But what I gave there on that side, A underscore ID, right? I should give the same value, A underscore ID. Now A underscore ID, the foreign key here will be referring to artist underscore ID. I want to say about the other column from other side, so I should use many to many. Many to many. Class is equals to movie. Column is equals to what I gave the other side, M underscore ID. Is it not looking like a redundant configuration? On both sides I told about table names, same table name, same column names, redundant, right? But we have to configure it, because now while querying, if I say session.get artists, I'll get an artist object, right? Artist.get movies if I call. How does Hibernate know what is the primary key and foreign key? By looking inside the configuration, right? So for queries, this configuration is required, right? So configuration should be on both sides. Otherwise, Hibernate does not know about the relationships, right? But one side should be made as inverse is equals to true. Inverse is equals to true means changes made to this collection should be ignored. I can make either side as inverse. In this case, I made artist side as inverse, right? On the other side also I could have made as inverse because both sides are equal. So remember when you are configuring bidirectional many-to-one relationship, any one of the sides should be made as inverse is equals to true. Otherwise, unnecessary update queries will be fired, just like the other case, right? That is the only thing which you need to keep in mind when you are configuring bidirectional relationships. I am making a set of movies. Then movies.add movie. Then I have to set this movie to each artist. First artist dot set movies. Then also for second artist also. So in bidirectional relationship, you should set both the sides. Now if you run see, one movie is inserted, two artists are inserted, and two inserts inside the join table also, right? Okay. Now what will happen if I remove inverse is equals to true? If I remove inverse is equals to true, let's see, I will run the same program again. It's giving an exception because it is trying to add insert movie same foreign keys inside movie artist. See how many inserts into movie artist? 1, 2. 2 are sufficient actually, but it is trying to insert 2 more because I didn't make inverse is equals to true. So it will cause an exception whenever you are making it bidirectional many to many. You have to make any one of the side as inverse, otherwise you will get this problem. So I'll keep it inverse, true, right? Any doubts? Let us discuss about one-to-one relationship. How to configure one-to-one. A very good example of one-to-one can be one employee will be allocated one desk, and one desk will be for one employee. One-to-one relationship only. One desk will not be shared by more than one employee, right? So maybe in your HR application, if they are allocating desks to employees, they want to manage which desk is allocated to which employee. So maybe sometimes we need to make this one-to-one relationships. One employee has one desk and one desk belongs to one employee, right? So I will configure that one-to-one mapping. First I will create a project. You can also follow parallelly with me. 1-to-1. I'll copy cfg.xml from any of the project. Then I'm going to create two classes, employee and desk. First, I'm going to create package com.infinite. Then I'm going to create new class employee, and employee will have employee ID and employee name simply. Okay, I'm going to create desk, a class called desk. Desk will have desk ID and some description. Then one desk should have one employee. So I'll create a variable of type employee here, private employee, then generate getters and setters. Okay. Now here also one employee has one desk. So I'll create private desk, generate getters and setters. Now there are two possibilities of configuring one-to-one relationship as we discussed already. See here, if this is the employee table and this is the desk table. Employee is having employee ID as for primary key, and the desk is having desk ID as primary key. Now there are two possibilities. One is, we already discussed, what I can do is I can make EID as a foreign key here. If EID is a foreign key, then tell me what is the relationship between employee and desk now? One to many. One employee can have many desks. But if I make a unique constant here, then one to one. So this is one way. First I will show you the configuration in that way. Then another way is, I will remove this column. Now this desk ID will be acting both as a primary key as well as foreign key. Means if employee ID is 1 here, the same value should be here for desk ID also, right? So the value of employee ID should be same as desk here, if it is, right? So there are two ways. We will see how to configure in two ways. First I will configure the first way. I will make employee ID as a foreign key here in desk and then make it unique. Quickly I will configure it. First I am creating desk.hbm.xml. Here I will configure. Okay, I will create first employee.hbm.xml. Actually, I have to discuss something more here. First, I will configure employee.hbm.xml. employee is having a primary key here, employee ID. This is normal. I'll say column as e underscore ID, and also I'll give a different table name here, emp underscore 121. I'll generate it automatically. And this is having a property name is equals to employee name. Then employee is having a variable of type desk. So here simply I'll write 121 name is equals to desk, class is equals to desk. Okay, where I want the foreign key on the desk side, right? So that's why I configured here. I didn't tell anything about foreign key here, right? I just configured 121 desk. I didn't specify what is the foreign key column here. Coming to desk here, I have desk underscore ID as a primary key. And I'll generate it prime automatically. Then it's having another property description. Okay, after this in desk table I want foreign key, right? I want a foreign key employee ID, right? Tell me, when I was configuring many to one relationship, see, actually if employee ID has to come as a foreign key here, it is nothing but many to one relationship, right? If it is unidirectional many to one relationship, how was I configuring? What tag was I using? No, in desk unidirectional many to one means desk is having reference of. So how did I configure unidirectional many to one? Okay, let me check. Let me show you again. Unidirectional many to one. Bank account is having the reference of user. Right here, how I configured by using many to one tag, and this is talking about foreign. Right now, similarly, in the desk table, I want employee ID as foreign. So what I will do is I will use many to one tag. Name is equals to employee, class is equals to employee, column is equals to, so I'll use e underscore ID. This will say that employee and desk are having many to one relationship. But how to convert many to one relationship to one to one? By using constraint unique is equals to true, means this EID is unique. This will convert many to one relationship to one to one relationship. That's it. We have configured one to one relationship between employee and a desk. Just only difference is I have to configure, I have to make this EID as unique. The many to one will turn to one to one. This is the first way. I'm copying the demo from other one. I'll delete all the unnecessary things. Okay, this is a common thing which I want. Copy it. Then I'll create one employee. Employee E is equals to new employee. E dot set employee name. employee name I'm setting it as Rajnikant. Okay, and I'll create an object of desk. Desk some description I'll set. Some description I'll set. Then I have to set the reference of desk to employee and employee to desk. E dot set desk and desk dot set employee E, right? Then I'll save session dot save. I'll first save employee, then session dot save desk. That's it. Run it and see, it should work. Okay, I have to configure the cfg.xml also and add desk.hbm.xml and employee.hbm.xml. Do it, it will work. And also here desk.hbm.xml. Then I'll run it. Yes, one row is inserted inside employee table and one row inside desk. Okay, I'll just see the tables. See, desk is having foreign key, E underscore ID as foreign key, and employee is having only EAD and employee name. That's it. Now if I show you, here for desk, primary key is desk ID and EID is a foreign key referencing to employee table, right? And unique key constant is there. That's how it became 1 to 1, right? Unique key constant on EID. Okay, we saw about the first approach. We'll see the second approach after the break. So we configured one-to-one relationship just by changing a many-to-one relationship. To change many-to-one relationship, what many-to-one relationship as one-to-one, what we did here, we just added unique is equals to true. That's all. If I remove this, it is many-to-one relationship. If I add unique is equals to true, that became one-to-one. Right? Now let us configure the same using other strategy. Right? So here I will write another HBM.xml, same here in this only, for employee, for desk, other HBM.xml. The name I will give as desk, another. Generally it is a good convention to make class name same as the HBM file, but it is not mandatory. Now I am having two mappings. I will use only one of them, desk, another. Okay. Now what is the next strategy here? Just see here. The desk ID should be acting as a primary key as well as a foreign key, right? So if employee ID is 1, desk ID also should be 1, right? Now whenever I am saving desk ID should be copied from the value of employee ID, then only it will work, right? So the desk ID should be generated by copying the value of employee ID from employee table. This is the. Now let us see how to configure it. For desk ID I am configuring. Name of the variable is desk ID column is desk underscore column, desk underscore ID. And now generator, previously I was using native. Native means it will automatically generate, but now I don't want to use native. I want it to be copied from the foreign key. I want the value to be copied from here, right? So I have to use generator class is equals to foreign. This is a change because the ID has to be copied from employee table. Then here for generator there is a tag called param. Name is equals to, from where it has to be copied? Name. See here in desk class. Where is the desk class? Let me just open the desk class. Here in the desk class, employee is a variable name corresponding to employee, right? So when it is generating desk ID, what it should do? It should say employee.getID. The value whatever it gets by calling employee.getID should be copied, right? So now see here, I said generator is equals to foreign, parameter name is equals to property. What is the property name? Same as the variable name here. So what does it mean? The value of desk underscore ID should be generated by using foreign generator. From where it should copy? From a property called employee of desk class. Employee is having employee ID, right? So that's the one. Next, desk is having another property description. Then just again. Sure. Previously what I was using, generator class is equals to native. Native means it will generate automatically. But now I don't want desk ID to be generated automatically. I want the desk ID value to be copied from employee ID, right? From the foreign key. This employee ID is acting as it's like a foreign key. This desk ID is referencing to employee ID, right? So that's why we have to use another generator called as foreign generator, not native generator. Foreign. For this foreign generator, we have to configure a property, parameter called property, whose name is nothing but the variable name inside desk class. So now I am saying to this foreign generator that copy the value for desk ID from a property called employee of desk class, right? Now in desk class there is again employee here, so I need to configure the tag for employee again. It is 1-to-1. 1-to-1 name is equals to employee, right? And I have to say constraint is equals to true. What do I mean by constraint is equals to true? If I am saying ID, if I am using ID tag, then I am saying that desk ID will be the primary key, right? But desk ID should also be the foreign key. If I am saying constraint is equals to true, that means that employee ID, whatever is coming here, this desk ID will be acting like a foreign key also. It's constraint. To tell that this desk ID is also a foreign key, which is referring to employee, then you have to specify constraint is equals to true. This is how we should do, right? Now, in hibernate.cfg.xml, I will remove desk.hbm.xml and I will say desk another.hbm.xml. So it will read the configuration for desk from here, right? Now I will run the same program. Let us see. I am creating an employee desk, giving the reference of desk to employee and reference of employee to desk, and then saving both of them, right? Okay, now run it. Yes, inserted employee and also inserted desk. Let us see. Okay, one thing I need to do here in cfg.xml, Oh, anyway, I have specified create, so it is dropping and creating. Otherwise, tables are different. Okay, let me check here the tables whether it is instant or not. EMP underscore 121. EMP underscore 121. How many? EID and employee. Then desk. Desk is having only now desk ID. What is the value of desk ID? From where it is copied? From employee, right? Again, if I run the same program, oh, it's dropping and creating, right? Again, desk will be having 1. It is copied from the value of employee, right? So this is how to manage one-to-one relationship. Any doubts? Now the next topic is how to configure optional one-to-one relationship. What do I mean by optional one-to-one? See here, in this case, one employee has one desk and one desk has one employee. Can there be a desk without employee? In this case, can there be a desk without employee? Because there cannot be a desk without employee, because desk ID is a foreign key as well as primary key. The value of desk ID has to come from employee, right? So desk cannot exist without an employee, which is not a real scenario, right? So now I want a desk without an employee also, and I want an employee with a desk. If an employee is on bench, we will not be having desk, right? So there may be employees without a desk also. So now I want to configure optional relationships. Some employees may not have desk, and some desks may not have employees. Now I want to configure it, right? In this scenario, it is not possible because desk ID is acting as a foreign key as well as primary key. There cannot be desk ID. Desk ID has to be copied from employee. So there cannot be row inside desk without employee, right? This is not possible. Now to configure optional relationship, what we can do is, see the solution which I am giving. I will be having a separate join table. I will call it as employee underscore desk. Okay, and here I will have 2 columns. Employee ID and desk ID. Okay. Now employee ID will be pointing to this one, and DID will be pointing to this one, right? But now tell me, what is the relationship now? If I have a separate join table, many to many. Yes, if I have a separate join table, one employee can have many desks, and one desk can belong to many employees. No, this is not a one-to-one. Now what will happen if I add a unique constraint to this DID and also employee ID? One-to-one. I am adding unique constraint for EID as well as DID. So employee ID has to be unique, and desk ID also should be. So if I add a constraint, then both of them will be unique, and that is nothing but one-to-one again. That is nothing but one-to-one. If I add unique on both the columns, then that will be nothing but one-to-one. But now, why do I say it optional? Now, can I have a desk? In this case, can I have a desk without employee? Yes. This desk ID is separate. Desk ID desk. Without an employee means there will be no row here inside it. If a desk does not have an employee, there will be no entry inside this table. That's all. So there can be a desk without an employee. And considering here, if employee has no desk, employee is there, but he has no desk, there won't be an entry here. That's it. So it is possible now. Now this is called an optional one-to-one relationship. Any doubts? I'll just create a new project for optional one-to-one. I'll just modify some few files. Just see here. new project, optional 1-to-1. I will just copy all this from 1-to-1 here, and also cfg.xml. See here, in employee table, I am deleting this. I'll delete this. Is not required. Now I will write a tag called join table is equals to, I need a separate join table right here, emp underscore desk. So in that case I need to add join table is equals to emp underscore desk underscore optional. All right, okay, this is a table name. And now in this table, tell me what should go as a foreign key. EID should go as a foreign key to this table. EID should go as a foreign key from here to here, right? To tell about foreign key column is equals to, I will say e underscore id, okay, and that has to be unique, because if it is not unique, it is many to many. It has to be unique. So unique is equals to true. Then I have to use a tag called many I have to use a tag called many to one, and specify name is equals to, name is what, desk, and column is equals to what I want as desk ID, whatever is present here, d underscore id, I think. So now what is this many to one? Many to one tag says that did should go as a foreign key from where? Desk refers to desk, right? So this is how we have to specify join table separately. And also this column has to be unique. Again, unique is equals to this is the configuration to make a optional yes, and one of the sides you have to specify inverse is equals to, so on the other side also you have to do the same, but on one of the sides, any one of the sides you can specify inverse is equals to true, right? So once I say employee, the changes in employee has to be taken into consideration, right? So see now okay, I'll remove this inverse is equals to, I want this to be taken into consideration, right? Then again this one I will take, I'll take this one desk.hbm.xml, and here I'll remove this. Here also I need to write join table name is equals to emp underscore desk underscore optional, and tell me what is the key here? D underscore id, yes, correct. D underscore id, this key represents the foreign key which should go from this table, right? column is equals to, already I have specified the name here as d underscore id, so I have to give the same, and again here I need to write many to 1 name is equals to employee, column is equals to whatever I gave here, e underscore id, and unique is equals to true. Right? And this side I am making it as inverse side. So what is the meaning of inverse? Any changes made to this employee variable here should be ignored, should not result in an update statement, right? Now we just see here, just take some time and analyze it. Some exception I got. Integrating constant d underscore id cannot be null. Why is it trying to enter? Okay. Oh, I didn't actually. I am saving. What am I saving actually? No, I am saving only. Oh, I am saying employee and desk. Desk ID, is it not generated automatically? And employee ID is also generated automatically, right? No, this is not using foreign. This is native only. This is normal. It is the exception I got. It is trying to insert, it inserted employee ID and it is trying to insert a row inside this one, but DID is okay. For employee, did I give the reference of desk? Okay, one more thing here. An employee, yes, I configured cascade now. That means here see, once I save employee, desk also should be cascaded, right? So what it did when I ran it? It first inserted desk and then it inserted employee. But actually I saved only employee, right? I said only employee, but why did it insert desk? Desk has to be cascaded, right? Hibernate, what it will do, it will intelligently arrange the statements so that it will not result in an exception. Now when I said cascade, Hibernate understood, oh, if I try to insert, it has to insert desk first, then employee first, and then this one first. Automatically it inserted in that order, right? So it will work only if I configure cascade. Let us talk about the last scenario, optional one-to-many. Previously we discussed optional one-to-one. Now optional one-to-many, how to configure it. One user is having list of bank accounts and one bank account is having one user. Bidirectional now. How are the tables now? This is a user table and this is a bank account table. Now in this user ID is the foreign key, user ID is the primary key, and here account ID is the primary key. Then as it is one-to-many relationship, what was happening? This primary key UID is coming as foreign key here. Yes. Okay, this UID is coming as a foreign key here. Then only it is one-to-many relationship, is it? Now, can I have, generally what we do is it good to make the foreign key null? No, if it is null, it is not in normalized form, right? Generally, we don't encourage nulls, right? I don't want it to be null. What we can do is in the many to one tag, I can say not null is equals to true. This will be not null, okay? Now when it is not null, generally we don't want foreign keys to be null. So that's why we generally add not null is equals to true in this table. UID is not null. Now tell me, when UID is not null in bank account, can there be a bank account without any user? It can't be, right? And there can be a user without a bank ID, sorry, bank account. There can be a user with bank account. There can be user without bank account. Okay, fine. Only one entry here. But there cannot be a bank account without user, right? But even though that is not a real scenario, there will not be a bank account without a user. But if that is the case, right? Then I want a bank account without a user also. That is optional one-to-many. Right? Bank account can exist without user. That is called as optional one-to-many. How to map optional one-to-many? Now what I will do is, to demonstrate it, I will remove this. If it is optional one-to-many, this is not required. Bank account will have only bank account ID and only the details of bank account. Foreign will not be here. Now what I will do is I will write a separate table. Here I will say user underscore bank account. In this table, I will configure user underscore ID to come from here and account underscore ID to come from here. Now tell me, what is the relationship between bank account and user? If this is the case, there is a separate join table where both the primary keys are coming as foreign keys. Then it is many to many. Now what I will do is, only on this column account ID, the many side, account is on the many side, right? User is one side, account is many side. So only for account ID I will make it as unique. Okay? If I make only account as unique, can one user have more than one account? Yes. User ID 1 can have bank account 1001. User ID 2 can have, for user same user 1 can have bank account 1002. One user can have many bank accounts, but same bank account cannot be for another user because it is unique, right? So in a many to one relationship, if I make only this column as unique, it will become optional one-to-many. Why do I say optional one-to-many? See here, if I want a bank account without a user, what I can do, I can write an entry here, right? This bank account does not have a user, so there won't be an entry here, that's it. bank account can be there without a user. Only thing is, if this bank account does not have any user, the entry will not be there here. If this bank account has a user, then there will be an entry here inside the user underscore bank account. Right? So is it not optional? Bank account can exist without user. Right? So this is optional one-to-many. Right? Now to configure optional one-to-many, what we have to do? Right? Let us see here. I'll create a new project. Optional one-to-many. I'll copy whatever is from bidirectional one-to-many to this one. Okay, and also I'll configure cfg.xml. After copying, see here, one user is having list, right? One minute. Here the change I need to do here is, one user is having list of accounts. The change I need to do here, I need to remove one-to-many here, and I'll specify table here, user underscore bank account underscore optional, and also I will write a tag called many to many. Class is equals to bank account, the other side, column is equals to account underscore ID. So let us see what is happening here. Is it not the same as many to many? When we are configuring many to many, we use many to many tag and specify the class. We specify the table and also we use many to many tag, right? And now this is same as many to many. Just the thing is, we need to make this as unique is equals to account ID has to be unique. Okay. Any doubts? So this will generate a table called user underscore bank account underscore optional. Whenever I insert user, it will try to insert these two columns inside this table, and I configured unique is equals to true. Just check. If I write this many to one tag, u underscore ID will go inside bank account table, but I want u underscore ID to go into the join table. So I will remove this many to one tag. Now I need to specify that account underscore ID should go to the join table, right? So I will write a join tag with table is equals to same as the table which I gave here. And same, if I use key tag will make foreign key column is equals to what I gave here, ACC underscore ID. So what is the meaning of it? ACC underscore ID will go inside this table and it will be referring to account underscore ID. Key tag always represents the foreign key. So ACC underscore ID will go into this table and it will be referring to account underscore ID of this table, right? And I need to tell about another column also in the table. So for that, many to one I will use name is equals to what? User, class is equals to user, then unique is equals to true. And what is the column name for this? Column name should be same as whatever I gave here, u underscore ID. Right? So I configured user variable of bank account to be going inside this table. Yes, for this account ID I have to configure again unique is equals to true. Oh, this is not unique. Okay, yes, correct. This is not unique. User ID should not be unique. Only account ID should be, yes, correct, right? And on both sides, on bank account side I have configured about account ID and UID, and on user side also I have configured about UID and account ID. So whenever you configure on both sides, one of the sides should be inverse is equals to true. It's up to you which side should be inverse is equals to true. List, whenever I am using list, can I make the list side as inverse is equals to true? No, because list is having indexes. So list side should never be made as inverse is equals to true. I have to make this as inverse is equals to. So now what we will do is, we will try to do all these projects with annotations. Till now we have used XML configurations, right? We will try to do with annotations. Then tomorrow I will introduce JPA and we'll see about JPA also. So now coming from the first project, I don't want to use HBM.xml files. I want to configure annotations in class files only. Now coming to this, I have user.java and user.hbm.xml where I have mapped user to user table, right? Now I don't want hbm.xml files. So see here, user, is it an entity? So annotate it with entity from java x.persistence. Now I want to tell to which table it has to go. So annotate it with a table annotation. Table name is equals to annotation underscore user, right? So this is how we are specifying the table for this entity. Now this is considered to be a primary key. So annotate it with ID. So this will be treated as ID. And I want it to be generated automatically. So generated value you can use, right? Generated value, right? And I want to give a column to it also. Column name, sorry. column name is equals to user underscore id, right? And for first name, another property is that for first name I'll annotate it with column name is equals to, I'll say f name, right? Like that, for each and every other thing I can annotate it with column. If I don't use column annotation, by default variable name will be same as the assumed to be the column name. So column annotation is not mandated, right? Okay. So in my user class, how many variables are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are there. So in table, how many columns will there? 5 will be there. But what I want is, I don't want the last name to be present inside the table. This is present inside the class. I don't want last name to be present inside the table. So I have to annotate it with transient. So if you annotate it with transient, then there won't be a corresponding column inside the data. But for city, I am not annotating it with column. By default, column name is assumed to be same as the variable name, right? If you don't want any variables to be having a corresponding column, you have to annotate it with comma, right? Huh? Means want to reduce the XML configurations. We don't want to configure XMLs. Everything should be inside the dot class file. Configuring annotations is preferred because it is easy for a developer. 1 minute. Now go to hibernate.cfg.xml. Here we are mapping the HBM file, right? But now I don't want HBM file to be used. I want annotations to be used. So I'll comment it. Okay. Then I need to tell to Hibernate that read the annotations present inside the class. So I need to write another mapping tag. But now I don't want to say resource. Now I'll say class is equals to com dot infinite dot entity dot user. Here I am just giving the reference to a class. This is the difference. Now Hibernate does not know about hbm.xml because I commented it, right? And also one more change. In demo, if you see here, this is inserting user, right? If you are using hbm.xml files, you are creating new configuration of it. But if you are using annotations, you have to use annotation configuration. If you are using annotation configuration, it will scan for annotations in the classes. If you want hbm.xml files, you have to use configuration. If you want to use annotations, you have to use annotation configuration, right? In JPA, it is possible. When using JPA, we can use both HBM files as well as class annotations. It will recognize both in JPA, right? But in Hibernate, only using Hibernate, you have to decide whether to use annotation configuration or configuration. Now that's it. If I run this, let us see whether it will be saved into table or not. Oh, it gave an exception. What is it saying? Spelling wrong, huh? Spelling is wrong, I think. Entity, sorry. Again, I'll run it. Yes, see, it has been inserted inside annotation transfer. Let us see the table also. Annotation transfer user is having the data, right? So this is a simple way to map a simple Java class. We just mapped a simple Java class. Any doubts? Next, let us see how to map composition. Okay, I'll go to the second project, composition. Here we have two classes, address which is having city and country, and user is having address. I decided that address is a value type, it is not an entity type. So address will not have its own table. The value of city and country will go inside which table? User table, right? So I can say that city and country columns are embedded inside user table, right? That means that address should be embeddable inside some other entity, right? So you have to annotate address with embeddable. This is not an entity. If it is an entity, you have to annotate it with entity. This is not an entity, it is a value type. Value types will be embedded inside some other table. That means it should be embeddable. That's why you have to make it as embeddable. Now, for city, I want to give a column name. I can annotate it with column. Name is equals to, I can give any name like user underscore city. And for country, I am not giving column. By default, the variable name will be same as the column name. That's all about how to configure address. It is an embeddable. It should be annotated with embeddable. Now coming to user. User is an entity. It has its own table. So I will annotate it with entity. Then the table name also I want to tell. Table name is equals to, I'll say annotation underscore user underscore composition. Okay, and user ID is a primary key, so I will annotate it with normally ID, and I want it to be automatically generated, so generated value, and I want to give a column to it. Name is equals to user underscore ID. And for name I am not giving any column. By default name will be the column name, right? But for address, you have to annotate it with embedded. That's all. So address is embedded inside user. On the top of address we used embeddable, and here wherever you are embedding you are saying embedded. That's all. Over. Now what all changes you need to do in this project now? In cfg.xml, instead of using mapping resource, you have to write mapping class is equals to com dot infinite dot user, and also in demo.java, instead of using configuration, annotation configuration. Right? So that's all. Here what I am doing, I am creating user, I am creating address, setting u.setAddress and saving user. Now it should be inserted. Oh, some exception. com.infinite.user, spelling mistake is there. Oh, spelling mistake, I say here it is infinite I wrote. Okay, now I will run it. Yep, see, table is inserted with city, country and also name. And now I will just show you in the table this one, user, city, country, name, everything are there, right? So this is how to configure composition. Just see now. how to configure collection of value types. Coming to the next project here, I have configured collection of value types using set. Now see this here, one user is having set of string emails, right? Collection of value types using set. Now see how I will configure annotations here. User is an entity. Okay, I'll configure it with entity, and then I want to give a table. Name is equals to annotation underscore user underscore collection of v types, value types underscore set, collection of value types using set. Okay, I'm making this as a primary key by using id, generated value, and also I'll give a column. Name is equals to user underscore ID. Okay, now here is the exact configuration. For name I am not annotating it with column, so variable name will be the column. Now coming here to set of emails. Earlier when using hbm.xml files, let us see the configuration, how I configured that set. I configured set emails as using set, and I gave a separate table name, right? When it is collection of value types does not have their own table, we have to mention the table name, right? And then inside this table, UID will be referring to user underscore ID. That goes as UID is a foreign key, right? And we have to write the element tag here, right? Okay, don't get confused here. I just was trying something else now. Okay, here this is how we configured earlier. Element column is equals to I think I wrote. This is how I configured earlier by using hbm.xml. Now by using annotations, you can see this set is representing element collection. So annotate it with element collection, not entity collection, element collection. Okay, and you need to specify the separate table name, a collection table. So for specifying collection table, you just have to annotate it with collection table. You have to give the table name. Table name is equals to, I'll say, annotation underscore user underscore emails underscore set. This is the table name. Inside this table, what should go as a foreign key? See, join columns. Join column represents the foreign key. Remember now, in hbm.xml, which tag represents the foreign key? In annotations from now onwards, wherever we use, join column annotation tells about the foreign key. Join column annotation is equal to key tag here. Okay. Now, here I need to say for this table, what is the join column? Control space if I press. See, join columns is an array of join column. For this collection table, I can specify composite key also, right? So now here I am, in this case, join columns should be an array, right? Now join columns is equals to, whenever it is an array, you have to keep it in curly brackets. Then it's an array of join columns. So annotations, join column, it's an array of join column. Join column name is equals to what you want as a join column. I'll say u underscore id. Means u underscore id is a foreign key referencing to the primary key of the table, user table, right? So I told about what is the foreign key, and then I'll configure column here. For this emails, the column is I want name is equals to email. That's all. So this email also will go inside this join table, collection table, right? Inside the collection table, the foreign key is u underscore id, right? You can also write comma, reference to column name is equals to, what is the reference column name which UID should be referring to? User underscore id, right? You can also give like this, but by default it is not required. This is not required because by default it will be referring to the primary key only, primary key of the above table only. This is not required but optional. You can specify this also to be very exact, right? Any doubts? That's all. Now we configured collection of value types. Remember the annotations. Element collection will tell that it's an element collection, collection of elements, not collection of entities. And we are specifying the join table name by using the collection table, and we are specifying the name corresponding to these emails by the column. This will go inside this join table. And what is the foreign key? Foreign key is configured by using join column annotation, right? Now I want to see whether it is executing or not. In hibernate.cfg.xml, again comment it, then mapping resource is equals to com dot infinite dot user. Okay, and one more change I need to change is here in demo. Instead of configuration, I need to use annotation configuration. That's it. Okay, it will read from the annotations. Let us see whether this will work or not. Oh, it's throwing an exception. What's saying mapping not found? What I gave? Oh, sorry. This is a class, right? Yes, class. Huh? Oh, infinite. Okay. Spelling mistake. Okay. No, my package I named it as infinite. Spelling mistake was there already. So I'll follow. Okay, see, one row was inserted inside user table, and as I inserted emails were inserted inside the join table, the collection table. Let us see the tables. Annotation underscore collection. See, user table is having only user ID and username. Now see the collection table. This one, right? User ID, email. And what is the primary key here for this table? Is there any primary key? No. UID is just a foreign key, right? But will it not be good if these two combination is a primary key? Combination of email and UID, if it is a primary key, tell me, can one user have duplicate emails? If this combination is not primary key, what I can do? One y@gmail.com, again I can add. Duplicates are allowed if this combination is not a primary key, right? So when we are using set, this combination should be as a primary key, right? Yeah, set will make sure that duplicates are not. But suppose if you try to insert inside table, table also should be reflecting the same, right? Okay. Now to make that as a primary key, what I can do is, see here, just one small change. Here for this column email, I'll say comma nullable is equals to false, means this email cannot be null. That's all. Let us see what will happen if I regenerate it. Now for cfg.xml, here I want the table to be dropped and created. So I'll say create. Now I'll run it. Okay, let us see the tables now. It executed finally. See now, primary key is a combination of UID and email. Just as I made email as nullable is equals to false, now the primary key is combination of UID and email. You just need to observe this, right? Sure. Here for this column email, I made as nullable is equals to false, means it is not null. Nulls are not accepted. Then automatically Hibernate will create email and UID as a combination as a primary key. Okay, you mean to say collection of composite value types, right? Yes, the set of addresses. Yes, I'll tell you. In the next video is there. We'll discuss about that also. Any doubts? Instead of set, if this is a list, what was the difference when I was having this as a list? List will have another column called index column. Okay, let us see what will happen if it is a list. I have that in another project here. Collection of value types using list. Now user is having list of emails. Let us see the hbm.xml file. Here whenever I am using list, I added another column called, another tag called list index, right? So now when it is a list, the configuration is almost same, but with small minor change. What I will do is, right now I will just copy paste, open this user, just copy paste. Okay, the name I'll give as underscore set underscore list, different table name I gave. Element collection is same, join table, collection table also it is same. Now I need to say what is a column for indexes. So I need to use another extra annotation here for list. Order column. What is the column for managing the orders? Order column name is equals to, I'll say list underscore index, whatever I want, right? Everything is same. Now once you save it, there will be another extra column called list underscore index. That's it. This is the only thing you need to change when it is list other than set. Instead of list, if it is a bag will not manage indexes. So the configuration is exactly same as list. You have to just remove this order column, that's all. For bag also same configuration, only you just have to remove the order column. But if you have to tell you whether it is a bag or set, the variable, this one should be what? Collection. Instead of list you have to use collection, then Hibernate will understand, oh, this is a bag, I should use bag, right? So for bag also same as set. The only difference is here you have to use collection. The reference variable name type should be collection. So that's about how to configure collection of value types.